What's up everybody? In this video I'm gonna be teaching you about Python in just one video. So before that we should download the version of Python. So I'm gonna download Anaconda version of Python. You can search it on Google and you can go to this website, and from here you will be getting the download option. You can choose your version, but in this video I'm going to be discussing about Python 3.5 or 3.6. So you can go ahead and download this version whatever you want, but if you are using any Linux distribution, there is already a Python, and that is Python 2.7. So please don't do anything with that Python 2.7 because that's necessary for running many of the system application. So instead of that, you can read this documentation right here, how you can install this Python in Ubuntu or any other Linux distribution. I'm not gonna show you that, so it's not the scope of this video. Now let's try to focus on Python. So I already installed Python, so I have two versions of Python. If I write Python right here, it's gonna take me Python 2.7 terminal. So as in this video I'm gonna be teaching you about only Python 3.5 or higher versions. So I'm gonna be writing Python 3.5 right here. So if you write this command or whatever, it could be only Python for you. It depends on how you have installed that in your system. Now after executing this command, it will take you to this nice little interpreter. Now here our first program will be hello world. So let's, using this print function, I can write something as hello world. Alright, so it's gonna print immediately. So this is actually acting as an interpreter. So instead of this, you can write something like, and you can combine many strings using comma. So like this is another string. Alright, you can see. Now let's try to talk about the fundamental things in any programming language like data types, loop, and conditional statements. Now in Python there is nothing called a data type. Like if you can use any variable name and you can assign any value to it. So Python is not like a statically typed programming language where you have to explicitly mention the data type. Now in Python, data types are given dynamically. Like let's say that this is data is equals to 10.30. So you won't have to mention the data type right here. You can print the value of 30 using this command data in the print function. On again, you can use data as a string also. This is a string and you can print the data. Now data is changed to string. So any variable can be used to hold any kinds of value in Python. Isn't it cool? I found it cool. Now let's try to talk about, okay, instead of writing everything inside that terminal, I can separately write everything inside a script file, and I can execute that as a Python script. Now let's try to see. Now here I can write everything. Let's say data is equals to 10.30 40. Okay, print data, and now let's say that this, and now I can print data. And in order to execute this, I can use this Python, then the script name, which is script.py. So everything is now super simple. Now let's try to see what are the operators available in Python. So delete all these things. Now let's say that A is 10 and B is 20. Okay, now instead of writing like this, I could have been written like this: A comma B. A is now 10, B is now 20. Alright, now I can perform the addition operation using this plus sign. I can perform subtraction using this minus operator. I can perform multiplication using this asterisk symbol, and I can perform the division using this slash. And if I want to take the modular division, I can use this simply % keyword. Let's try to run this code. You can see everything is fine. Now here you can see it has returned the float division. Now if I want to take the integer division, let's say that this is 12. Now if I execute the same piece of code again, it has given me 1.1. Now if I wanna take this integer division, I can use this double slash. So if I use this double slash, it's gonna give me the integer division. Now if I want to calculate something to the power something, let's say that I want to calculate 2 to the power uh, 12. So for that I can use this double asterisk. So this is actually power operator. So if I write this, it has returned me this power operation. Now let's try to talk about fundamentals of any programming languages, including conditional statement, which is nothing but if, else, and loops. So let's try to delete all of these stuffs. Now, so in Python, let's say that I want to check whether a number is even or not. I can do that using if else. So let's say that x is 12 and another variable y is 13. Now, if I want to check whether x is even or not, I can simply use if x percent 2 equals to 0, and then after this I should use this colon sign. Now, in order to write everything inside a block, uh, in Python there is no curly braces. Curly braces are only used to represent dictionary in Python. So if we want to include everything or create a block of something, you should use a tab. So this indentation is necessary for Python. If you don't follow this proper indentation, the Python interpreter will throw some kind of error. Now let's try to see. I can print x is even. Now if you want to close this block, just simply press a backspace. So okay, now I can write some more things inside this inside if block. All right. Okay, now you can simply use else, and you can include everything inside x is not even. All right, and you can print else block. Let's try to execute this. It has thrown me. Okay, I should use a colon after this else. Now you can see it's working. Now sometimes what happens that in there can be multiple conditions, like in F you can use an else F. So for that you can simply use elif. If you can write is x equals to okay, x greater than 10, x is not even but greater than 10. Again you can write another else block. If these two conditions are false, then the control will be right here. So right, no condition matches. Let's try to see what happens. It's even. Now if we change this to 13, okay, now x is, if I change this to 5, it's not even and it's not greater than 10. So you can see it now control is inside this block. So this was all about if else and elif. Now let's try to talk about loops in Python. So loops are basically some construct which repeats a block of statement for a certain number of times. So in Python there are two types of loop. One is for loop, another one is while loop. So let's erase all of this again. Now if you want to say okay, now in order to use the for loop, you can use simply for keyword and then the loop variable lim, which is I in this case, and then in range. Now in this range we should give the upper limit, a lower limit first. Let's try to say I want to iterate from 1 to 10, so I can give 1 right here, but there is a twist that I cannot. If I give 10 right here, it will be iterating from 1 to 9 only. So we should have to give one extra in this upper limit. So if I want to iterate from 1 to 10, I should write 11 right here. But if I want to iterate from 1 to 100, then I will be writing 101 right here. And as I have told you that if you want to create a block, there is no curly brace, so you should use a tab indent. So this is necessary for Python. Print inside for loop block, and you can write print I. All right, okay, let's try to see outside loop. It has executed. Now you can nest it, you can nest many loops. Let's say that I want to add another loop inside that. So for using in, okay, let's get rid of these things. Okay, let's give a tab, and then for j in range 0 comma I can print, okay, I can write here, I can print this hash iteration number. Okay, one thing I should mention, instead of using this double quotation, you could have been used this single quotation also, which is also valid in Python. Iteration number, let's say this is I, then I can write inner loop, then I can write the value of j. I can use a tab and tab. I can use a backspace. Now let's try to see how the hell it's gonna work. It has thrown, okay, I haven't used this colon. You must have to use this colon after if, else, and for, while, whatever. So yeah, you can see it's working. So in this way you can simply use for loop, but there is another type of for loop which is range based for loop. So I will be discussing about range based for loop in, okay, I will be discussing about range based for loop whenever I will be discussing about dictionary and list. Okay, now let's try to see how we can use while loop. Let's say that x is equals to 10. All right, now okay, x is equals to 1. Now I can achieve the same thing using while loop. Simply I should write the condition. Let's say that x greater than equals to 10. So this will this loop will keep running until this condition become false. Now again I should use a tab indentation, then print value of x, and I should increment the value of x. I cannot write x plus plus in Python. I can write like this, x plus 1 or x equals to x plus 1. Okay, let's try to see what happens. Okay, everything is fine now. Now let's try to talk about functions in Python. So functions are very useful whenever you want to do repetitive tasks, and function can help us to do certain things repeatedly, and it offers reusability. Now in order to write a function in Python, we can use this def keyword, which is nothing but define and then name of the function. Let's say that I want to calculate area of a rectangle, then in between this parenthesis I should give the list of arguments, let's say that, which is h and w. Now again colon sign, and if I want to include everything inside this function, I should again use a tab indentation, which is kind of cool in Python, which enforces to make the code looks beautiful. And simply I can calculate area in, I can calculate area and store it in a variable, and I can simply return that. Okay, this is also fine, but also I could have been done like this. Simply I am returning h multiplied by w, and you can one thing you should note that any function can return anything in Python, because Python has no data type. It's actually dynamically typed programming language. So okay, if you want to write something inside this loop, you could have been written like this: for I in range 0 comma 100, then do some computation. Again, nested loop inside for loop. You could have been written a while loop also, then nested block, and at the end you could have been written the result of your computation, whatever. So in this way, by following the proper indentation, you could have been opened and closed many of the blocks. So now let's try to return area uh, and print a couple of bunch of areas. Area, I am calling this function right here area, let's say 10 comma 20, and area of 14 comma 17. It's working fine. Now it's time to talk about some of the data structures in Python, and one of them is list. Okay, there are many data structures which can contains a bunch of values, or it can act as a container in Python. Those types of data structures are list, tuple, and dictionary. But in this video, I will simply be discussing about list and dictionary. Now let's try to go ahead and talk about list. So list is a container actually which can hold a bunch of values. So in order to declare a list, I can write all the values inside this square braces by using a comma. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now I can simply then print the value of L. Okay, it's gonna print the value of L in this way. Now what happens if you want to calculate the sum of this list? So as I have told you that there is another type of for loop in Python which is range based for loop. Let's say that initially sum is 0. I can iterate through this list using that range based for loop, and I can compute the sum. So let's say that I in, now this time I'm not gonna be writing range, instead I will be writing the list name and this colon, and again a tab indentation, then sum plus will be equals to I. So this I will actually copy each and every values from this list, and that will add that to the sum. So if I print sum, I will be getting the sum of this list, which is 21. Now let's try to see how we can access individual elements from this list. So okay, in Python there is something called indices. So indices are basically just numbers which starts from 0, and it will be like 0 1 2 3 4 5. Now if I want to access the first element inside this square braces, I should give 0 because index of the first element is 0. If I want to access the second element or the last element, okay, last element has an index of 5, I can write 5 here. So what's wrong with this? Okay, this is actually not valid. Okay, if you want to write a comment in Python, you can use this hash symbol, and if you want to write multiple lines of comment, you can use this single quotation, then this is a multi-line comment, another line of comment. All right, and you can close using this 3 quotation again. Now let's run this code, and it has written 1 and 6. Okay, if you okay, one cool thing about Python is that it supports negative indices. Yes, negative indices. If you write -1, it's gonna give you the value of the last element, and if you use -2, it's gonna give you the value of second last element. So in negative indices, it's going like this. It's actually -5, -4, -3, -2, -1 in this way. So if you write okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, it has written the last and second last element. Now if you want to perform any kind of a subsetting operation from this list, let's say that I want to get all the values from 2 to 5, I can simply use this 2 colon 5. It will give me a subset of list from starting from index 2 to 5. Yeah, you can see. Okay, now there are a couple of bunch of functions available in list. You can use that function to perform some kind of operation like finding maximum of the list, minimum of the list, and summing the list. So let's try to see what are those functions. So there is a function called max. If you use that function and pass the list name, it will give you what is the maximum element of this list, which is 6 in this case. And there is a function called main. Okay, print main, and this will return you what is the minimum element of this list. Alright, which is 1 in this case. And if you want to get the sum of this list, you can use the, instead of using for loop, you can use simply this sum function. It will return you the sum of this list, okay, which is 21. Now one cool thing about Python is that list can be treated as a single dimensional array, but also it can be treated as a 2D array. How? You can define a list of list. Okay, now before that, let's try to see what happens if you want to initialize a list with same values of some certain number of types. So it will be simply, let's say that you want to initialize this list using 100 zeros. So you can simply write 0 and then multiply it by 100. So it will replicate a 0 100 times and put that into this list. Let's print this here, and what happens? You can see 100 zeros are being added in this list. So now I haven't talked about how to take input from Python and perform some operation, which must have to be discussed at the beginning of this video. Okay, sorry for the interrupt. I'm gonna be discussing about how to take inputs in Python. So in order to take input, you can simply use this input keyword, and here you can pass some text like enter some value, and let's try to print this right here. Alright, now if you want to perform any kind of operation with this input value, like x multiplied by 2, I think you will be getting an error. Okay, sorry for that. X plus 2, 12, and you can see it has thrown an error because Python takes everything as a string. So this x is not integer. So in order to make it as integer or any desired data type, we should use typecasting. So I will be making this as integer. Now if I perform any operation, then yeah, it's not gonna throw an error. Now what happens if you want to take your name input and you want to print that multiple times? Let's try to do that. Okay, let's try to say name is equals to input. Name will be string simply. Enter your name is equals to, and then n will be number of times that you want to print your name. Enter how many times you wanna print your name. Now if you want to print your name n times, you can write simply name multiplied by number of times. Alright, let's try to see. Let's say I want to print 10 times. What happens? Okay, what's wrong in this code? Oh, it should be an integer. The number of times should be an integer. So I should typecast this using int function. Now if I want to print my name right here, let's say 10 times, it's gonna print this 10 times. Isn't it cool? So actually I should give us little bit space here. Okay, I can give a little bit space here, and it's now looking cool. You can also use, okay, if you want to add a new line here, you can concatenate a new line character using this /n. Then you can print that multiple times. Let's try to see 10 times. What's wrong right here? It's not printing this. Okay, I will be seeing that later on. Now let's try to focus on list up list. Okay, now as I have told you that in Python you can you can declare a list. Also you can write a list which contains some list. Okay, which elements are nothing but some list. So in this way you can write a list up list in Python, which is nothing but 2D array. Let's try to see. If I print L, it's gonna give me this list up list. If you want to access individual element from this, you must have to use two index. One is the row index, another one is the column index. So let's say that I want to select from the second matrix, a second list. So second list of this list, so which has an index of 1, and then the first element which has an index of 0. So it has given 3, which is this one. So list of list is nothing but 2D array. Now in Python there is another type of container which is called dictionary. So dictionary is actually stores a key value pair. So if I give you an example, like you want to store salaries of different person, and then you want to retrieve salary of different person using their name. So for that purpose, dictionary will be the best option for you. So in order to write a dictionary, you can use this curly braces. Okay, now you can use this curly braces. So now here you can store a couple of bunch of key value pairs. Let's say that I want to store my salary. So this name will be the key, and if I want to map that key to a particular value, I can use this colon and I can give this value, let's say which is 12,000. Then Albert, who has a salary of 24,000, and Edward has a salary of 120 rupees. And you can print this dictionary simply again using this name of this dictionary, which is, and if you want to search what is the salary of Albert, you can simply use the key value, a key right here, which is Albert in this case, and it will return the value of this key, which is 24,000. Similarly, you could have been written Edward right here, Edward right here. It will return 120. Alright, so there are many operations that we can perform in dictionary, but it cannot be discussed in a single video. Rather, just finish this video by discussing how you can append some values in a list. Let's say that this is our initial list 1 2 3 4 5, and I want to append some values in this list. To do that, I can simply use this append function, and I can write some values right here. Okay, it will take single value, and then if I print this right here, you can see everything is added. So this was all about basic syntaxes of Python. So thanks for watching this video. In the next video I will be discussing about some more advanced stuff in Python.